or host at, I forget, host backslash, right?
I have no idea.
We're doing this live.
Hey, I see us on the.
Hey.
Hey.
Woohoo!
All right, everybody, we are live, and we're about to be live at the Pack Theater. If you've tuned in to see friendships torn asunder, then get excited for this stuff because it's happening and it's real. Awesome. Yeah.
I'll be honest, you guys chose some good choices. Some choices I had heard of and I was like, controversial. Some choices I hadn't, and it was an interesting experience learning new things. Some of them I only knew through memes. Some of them I had never heard of before, and I felt like I grew as a person.
That was identical to my experience. It's like some of these I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And then some I was like, oh, like I've seen your face. And then there's some that I was just like, who and what?
Uh-huh.
Well, now that we're in the preamble, if I may ask, Sarah, who was a complete stranger to you, and which one of us between Sam and myself did you learn a little more about?
Sam's Gundam picks.
I mean, but did we learn anything?
Most of Sam's picks are an enigma to me, and that's extended to the show. Like he has such like a rich wealth of like lore and knowledge of many things that I'm always I love to learn from my friend Sam.
The lore is real. The lore is rich, and I'm excited. Actually, I need to learn some things about some of these other picks. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Let's just make sure one last time. It's 7:04. We're live now. Awesome.
Yeah, we are live.
Okay.
Sam, to me, you're a wealth of knowledge, so I'm surprised you didn't just immediately know everyone, and I'm surprised.
Yeah, actually. I'm kind of proud, actually. If I was able to stump you with one and bring a new one to the table, I feel incredibly proud.
Actually, now I have to ask. I asked Sarah. I'm going to ask you. Who was a foreign choice for you? As we're about to rank basically our personal beliefs and opinions. Who was like a left field, like I didn't think Reed or Sarah was going to bring this person to the table? Who are they?
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I'm still setting some stuff up because
I've got all some. Good. I can preamble and tell you the Gundam picks to me foreign. Sarah, you had a supporting character pick that I was like, I don't know her.
No, neither of you K-On! Fans.
I'm sorry, I do not know this person.
No, honestly, like not that big of a deal. Again, I just feel really proud that like I was telling Sam when we were getting started that like I think between the three of us, I have like the smallest base of anime knowledge. So like. And that's no small potatoes among this crowd, but like that I was able to bring like a newbie, like I feel very good about this. I feel very validated.
Good. It was an anime. They were animes I had heard of. It was animes that like if I was at a party, I saw them across the room and I'm like, oh yeah, I saw you. I never spoke to you. You were drinking from a Red Solo cup and I was drinking from a different Red Solo cup. And so it wouldn't be weird if we end up being in an Uber pool together, but I wouldn't know their name.
We are the Uber pool of anime podcasts. So we are right now. We are going to be hosted soon, hopefully on the Pack channel.
In the meantime, welcome to Super Dating.
Yes.
And I hope you enjoy. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what we're doing today, Sarah, Sam, and myself are going to be. We're going to do another tier listing because it was a good time before and we want to do it again, but this time with a twist. Prior to the show, Sarah, Sam, and myself submitted 2 characters. Hey, chat's popping off. Hello. Prior to the show, Sarah, Sam, and myself submitted to our little pod of friends 2 supporting anime characters and 2 anime villains. It is now up to us to decide which is S tier rank and which is E tier. The unfortunate and cruel twist is there can only be one S tier, and there needs to be. Correct me if I'm wrong, friends. At least one person in each tier. No one is safe from E tier.
Yeah, in real time, I just had to count how many letters there are in the tier ranking. So yes, the answer is there has to be one for every single one.
Here's bold of you, because to me, I was like, I'm assuming, and hey, maybe we'll drive up to there and be like, Reed, you measured 4 feet cliff. This cliff is 6 feet. And I'd be like, well, we're gonna jump it anyway.
Speaking of jumping over a cliff, I'm
Hey.
having some difficulty hosting us at the Pack Theater. There's a very aggressive improv stream. Now we're. I think we're set now. No.
A very aggressive improv stream.
No. I think it was just a little. It was just a little. You know, sometimes when people are in the internet, they get their wires crossed. It's totally fine. I'm happy to be here. Thank you also to all of you all in the chat here joining us on Twitch. We are going to be monitoring this chat as we go on tonight. But I think without further ado, I'm Sam Weller. This is Sarah Brown and Reed Seitz. This is tier listing. So what we do with this segment is we are looking at a variety of things that we have. We're going to put a ranking to. Now, in the past, we've done Ghibli movies, we've done anime weapons, we've done bad boys in anime, but this time we're actually going even more hardcore because we have to come up with a definitive top 6 villains in anime. It's definitive. I mean, it's utterly arbitrary.
This is going to be legally binding. Also, I'm so sorry. I have to share this. We should call this segment Tears for Fears.
Yes.
Wait, I think we could get sued for that.
Not if we
From the band.
Not if we don't write it down.
Not if it's
Can
a
we
joke.
Can we spell fears wrong? Can we spell fears and tears?
We can spell fears F-I-E-R-S. Yeah. And
All right, I'm on board.
Legally bulletproof. Anyway.
I'm back on board. I was unsure.
Super
Now,
dating.
here's the
Super Dating Simulator, legally bulletproof, said 20. When did we start this show? 2018. Yeah.
If I may be sure, as a blind baby newborn to this stream, we're only getting one list. There's not each of us with our personal list.
This has to be it.
We have to come together. We have to vote. We have to assign definitively the ranks.
You guys, I left my machete at home. I can't lethally defend my choices. We'll see where we go.
All right.
Sorry, Carrie the Self-Care Fairy has correctly subtitled Tears for Fears. Everybody wants to rule the world, which really absolutely picking up what we are putting down.
Beautiful. All right, let's kick this thing off with some introductions.
Okay.
Sarah, who have you brought to the villain side of the table?
Okay, for the villain tier ranking, I have brought 2 competitors. I have brought Kyubey from Madoka Magica, and I have brought Tomura from My Hero Academia.
Okay.
Do we want a little like?
Yeah, give us a little bio.
Yeah. Okay, great.
And then give some heads up for spoilers for those who haven't seen those 2.
Oh yeah, this is. I think we got to be spoilers on this. I mean, I also think though that in the case of like the Demon Slayer, some of that stuff, people might not have seen it, but that show's been out. All these shows have been out. We're not talking about manga necessarily with Tomura's character. We're just talking about like what people have seen. I think that'll be enough.
Neither for Inuyasha.
Nefer-P2 there will be spoilers for Nefer-P2 for the Hunter x Hunter stuff. And that's one of the best things in the show. So just be ready. Sorry, go Reed.
Okay, well,
that's fair.
Go ahead, Reed.
I'm so sorry. My one thing is that for Demon Slayer, I'll do my best because I know it's a relatively new kid on the block. I'll try not to be too crazy, but I'll say some things that aren't going to spoil the plot of the whole anime, but you might learn some things.
All right,
there, take it away.
Yeah,
I'm done interrupting you.
So Kyubey from Madoka Magica. Technically a spoiler if you are incapable of picking up a vibe from his very first appearance. I'm sorry. If you couldn't pick up that Kyubey was not all that he appeared from his very first appearance, like maybe check in with a friend or a loved one about your decision-making abilities and maybe reevaluate how you trust people. So Kyubey is a little cat-shaped alien who is the primary antagonist of the show Madoka Magica. He offers these bargains to these young girls. Make a bargain with me, and I will grant you magical powers. But of course, as anybody familiar with Faust is aware, all bargains come at a price. And it turns out that Kyubey does not have these girls' interests or the fate of the entire planet Earth's interests at heart. Tomura is the villain from My Hero Academia in that first League of Evil arc. He is the leader of the League of Evil. He follows All for One, and All for One was his master, and now his goal was to kill All Might and destroy society and remake it in his own image.
All right.
Classic villain chicanery.
Speaking of classic chicanery, Reed, who have you brought to the table?
We'll start with the classic. His name's Naraku. He has had several iconic looks, but that's not what I'm talking to him about. Well, the one in the image is just one. He's also known for the baboon pelt look, if you're familiar with that with earlier seasons. That wasn't a joke, but I'm very excited. I'm just excited. Inuyasha was one of my intro animes. Naraku is essentially, spoilers for Inuyasha, putting it out there. Naraku was originally a human bandit who fell in love with a priestess and wanted to obtain maximum power. So to do so, he fed his body to demons, and bada bing, bada boom, Bob's your uncle. He's a big, scary demon man who tears apart his soul to make other tiny demons, and just is down to find the unstoppable Shikon no Tama, a very powerful jewel, to make himself a full demon, and he will kill anybody and everything in his way except for one person to get it McFreaking done, and occasionally including himself.
All right.
Yeah. The second person I brought is Kibutsuji from the new anime on the block, Demon Slayer. He, in fact, is a demon, hence the title. He's a fun guy.
The titular demon.
He's a chill demon. Spoiler, so feel free to mute if you feel like it. He does, in fact, I hope people pause now. He turns people into demons, and he's really manipulative, and he's not very cool about it. He shows up, and he says, hey, don't fuck up. And if you fuck up, you're dead. That's kind of his shtick. Other than that, he doesn't like being insulted. He'll kill anybody. He'll kill your mom. He'll kill your kids just to get what he wants done.
All right. Excellent. Excellent rundown.
Thank you. I did my best.
Also, if you note the 4 choices that Reed has made for this show, it looks like her dating app preferences, perhaps.
Reed has a type.
It's a bunch of dark-haired, pretty boys. I mean, Rock Lee, I'd say, he's pretty.
He is pretty.
He's winsome.
Winsome. Okay. Since we're coming in hot, I'm just going to finish off the rundown with, because the debate's really where the heart of this is at. Neferpito, who is the cat-haired, white-haired, I think it's they, them, because in the manga, their gender is ambiguous, or how they present. Mm-hmm. And even though, they have kind of like this cross-up between Catgirl and Schoolboy almost, with very powerful, like, doll legs. It's kind of an odd look. But the reason why Neferpito's look is odd is because she's actually a member of the Chimera Ants. So in the anime that they're from, Hunter x Hunter, Neferpitou is like one of the most powerful characters near the end of the anime. And in their first appearance, they have killing intent that is so strong. It literally freezes 2 of our heroes, who is Gon and Killua, completely in place. And this is a spoiler again, but like I said, it's kind of free range. You just got to be in for it. Hunter x Hunter's been out for a while. It's a classic. Watch it. Yeah. They kill Kite, who is their Gon and Killua's master, and literally sits under a tree with their head in their lap and kind of paws at it like a cat and has this sort of innocent nature to them. But they are extremely powerful and could literally leap from like miles away to attack a target. So they set Neferpitou up as probably one of the most intimidating physical presences in the show proper, beyond some of the other higher tier power villains. But what makes Neferpitou especially evil is how she plays and toys with the emotions of her opponents. She's really loyal to this king character who's essentially a cross between Frieza and Cell, and she will go to any lengths to protect them. It's kind of like a house cat if they were even more vicious and actually loyal. So it's a very dangerous combination. And then the second choice that I brought, I mean, I'm only here to educate. Apparently, my two co-hosts, my two co-producers, but Char Aznable is, I think, the GOAT as far as anime villains are concerned. In the Gundam universe, we'll see, I guess. But in the Gundam universe, Char is charismatic. He's beautiful. He's an extremely skilled pilot for his robot. They call him the Red Comet. He goes up against the Earth Federation, representing at first the Principality of Zeon, seemingly for noble ends of wanting independence, but of course the Zeonic forces are extremely brutal, and even among them, the most devastating is Char Aznable. What makes him especially villainous, though, is not just because he's like the main foe of a hero, Amuro Ray, in the original Gundam. He has a completely separate. He has a completely separate agenda. Again, slight spoilers, but it's pretty much out there in the ether already. It's been around since the 70s. Char is systematically eliminating pretty much anyone that opposes him, including becoming best friends with a member of the Zabi family, Garma, and then betraying them, and then finding other ways of like throwing a family into harm's way as revenge for the Zabi family murdering or conspiring against Char's father. So he is consumed by revenge. He is then consumed by his principles of wanting liberation from the Earth sphere. He initially doesn't like new types, but then embraces the idea of a new era, which, with, of course, him at the head of it. So he's every combination of bad guy, Count of Monte Cristo, pretty boy, amazingness, and a great villain because you can almost see where he's coming from. Was Char right? We're about to find out.
All right.
Okay, so with that being said, number 6 is Naraku. No.
Wow. Okay, let me firstly bring out my index cards that I have to actually speak on who I think deserves to be number 6. And here's the thing. This is a list of very great villains. They're all fantastic, but I'm going to say it, and let me explain myself first before y'all come for me, okay? Mm-hmm. I believe Kyubey should be 6.
I knew you were going to say it, and I can't wait to tell you that you're wrong, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here's my points. If you look at it on a micro scale, horrible. S tier villain, not going to lie. When you look at it on a macro scale, spoilers for Madoka Magica, it is kind of he's doing it to help everyone else out in the universe. There is a good that comes of it. Do I think that we should definitely harvest small children? No, I don't think we should do that.
I'm glad you finally issued a statement on that.
I want to just let everyone know, we can say here today, Reed's not pro deviling tiny children.
Deviling tiny children.
Am I wrong?
No.
I don't think so.
You're not wrong.
I'm just saying, on the list of these selfish assholes,
but
Kyubey is the least selfish.
You and I are coming down on two sides of the same fence, which is that I think that's why Kyubey is the greatest villain. All of these other villains have motivators. Both Naraku and Kibutsuki, from my understanding, they are motivated by like immortality, like they want to shed their fallible human bodies and strength. Yeah. And then Neferpitou is motivated by loyalty, from my understanding is that they're in service to this king. So like there's a person that they are loyal to.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're endlessly cruel, Neferpitou.
But the whole thing is that like, so and then Tomura like wants to like destroy society, remake it in these images. They all have these motivations. They all have these like weaknesses, these things that they hold dear, this like anger, these emotions. Kyubey is doing the trolley problem on a universal scale. It is literally all business to Kyubey. He has no emotions.
Right.
He does not care about he cannot be swayed. He cannot be reasoned with. He cannot be tricked. He is just looking at the fate of the universe as a whole. And to me, that's terrifying. There's no playing on Kyubey's emotions. There's no working to his sympathies or manipulating his weaknesses. It's all just like, this is what I'm doing to prevent the heat death of the universe. And if you're one of the casualties of it, that sucks. Put your soul in the little gem.
I will say there is one way to sway Kyubey's reason. Knock, knock. Would you like a cosmic solar panel? It's 10 times more efficient than small children. Done. He's done. He's out. He's like, cool, 10 times more efficient. And I save on my taxes.
Kyubey suffers from what I call the Matrix conundrum, which is you've chosen the most inefficient way to achieve your goals. Machines are like, we just need to create an elaborate mechanism to imprison humanity and siphon off the shitty amount of energy we'll get from their body heat to power our entirely too elaborate neural network / Second Life fantasy game. QB, I don't like him at the bottom because I think that they highlight the indifference of villainy, and like that there's an insidiousness to the idea that they seem you guys say that like QB is just like doing it because they have to or whatever. Don't they belong to like a race of alien or something? Like, you know, they chose this life, you know, like sometimes the game chooses you, sometimes you choose the game. And I think that QB chose this, whereas Naraku took 400 episodes to accomplish anything. So ooh. I'm wondering.
Whoa! I wasn't expecting a knife in my side. Okay.
No. I'm just saying, like, yes, Naraku is incredible evil. Like, they found ways of pissing off so many people in, you know, alternate fantasy Japan, and responsible for the disillusion of an actual, like, true love relationship. Like, that is like that is fantasy level stuff. But also Naraku, like, there's no efficiency to their plan. Your second choice, Kibutsuji, has more like cunning and ability. They get shit done in 26 episodes. I don't see the same hustle from Naraku. I just don't see it.
This isn't a tier of who can get things done faster. It's a tier of who's the worst. I just want to put that out there. We weren't talking about like getting things done. Also, there's no turnover. Naraku is the guy from day one to day 400.
No turnover.
He's your guy. There's no like, you know, we're gonna go. No, Naraku's your man. He's your bae. He's before anyone else.
So Naraku's number 5 then.
You know, I'm willing to hear your argument, and then I'm willing to believe you're wrong to the end of time.
I will say this. I think for the sake of getting movement here, I would be willing to put QB at the bottom, if only because Sarah immediately gave up ground and agreed with Reed.
Before we put QB at the bottom, even I have to say, Sarah, who is your E tier villain? I would like to hear your personal thoughts and choices.
It's going to be the Gundam guy because my
no
TV static when I think about Gundam. But
I'm gonna actually have to make a pause here, and I'm gonna have to say I'm also with you, but I'm also not with you at the same time. I can be easily swayed. I'm standing on the edge of this coin.
I am telling you both right now.
Okay. And
maybe this is like not the time to do this move, but Char Aznavour. I'm personally not going to allow him out of the top 3.
You seem to fundamentally misunderstand how this stream works
and how democracy works.
No, well, the thing is, if it is our 3 list, I get the idea of being voted and outvoted or whatever. But Char Aznavour is a legendary bad guy. He also was responsible for like almost running a colony full of people into the earth to like completely shatter the planet. And and in addition to the fact that he is the ultimate manipulator, he talk about knives in the side. Like, Char has done it to almost anybody that is aligned with him, and in such a beautiful way. He also is responsible for the greatest headshot in anime history, where after he betrayed Garma earlier in the series, a high-ranking member of the military, he then found a way right before the first series ended to get on a rocket pack, go up in front of Garma's sister, who was at the helm of a ship, give her a little like John Cena salute, like you can't see me, and then to himself said, "Don't worry, Garma, I'm sending your sister to be with you now," and then pulled up his gun and one-shotted her right through the dome, and then also causing a chain reaction explosion that destroyed the entire battleship. So the man is too slick to be to not to.
Okay, I've listened to this and I think I have a solution
Okay.
that I think is going to resolve who goes in E.
Okay.
I just want acknowledgement of how brave and compassionate I am, is that I would argue that maybe Tomura, in fact, from My Hero, deserves to be E.
I'm gonna step in here for Tomura, if I may, and then I'll let you. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish.
He's an early series villain. He's one of the ones where like our heroes are still kind of cutting their teeth, they're still kind of gelling, and he's a very straightforward villain. It's like, what's he want to do? He wants to kill the good guys, because some of these guys have like very complex backstories, and like, yeah, or something like Naraku. It's like, no, there's no like necessarily redeeming qualities, but it's like there's some complexity there. Like we get the full backstory, we see what's going on there, and it's like, yeah, I don't like what you did, but like I guess I can kind of see why you've become this way. Versus Tomura, I think doesn't necessarily have that same kind of like complexity that you get with like a slow build villain like that. So I would argue that, yeah, he's maybe just still a good villain and still like super creepy and like, especially like aesthetically, like really like, really just, sends shivers down your spine. But I just don't know if he has the complexity of some of these other villains.
I'll allow it, but I want you to know, in my heart, he was A tier on my heart. That's on my personal list. I put him second place.
Here's the thing. I'm actually, and Sarah, I'm going to agree with Reed. I don't think I like the idea of Tomura being last. And in fact, I will take your sacrifice and I'll put Neferpitou last. I would do that because
but Neferpitou sounds so cool.
Neferpitou is cool. Neferpitou is cool, but
why did we think we could do this show?
How do we think we could do two? We're not going to do it. Like, we're going to spend all night on this villains thing, and that's fine. I think our fans just want definitiveness. They want, and here's what I'm saying. And it's so funny because we're all trying to like volunteer as tribute for who goes number 6. Well, Reed, Reed, you're selfish as shit.
Yeah, I just said it, Sam. Way to jump on my trolley.
Reed is toxic.
Reed brings that toxic. Reed brings that toxic weeb energy. Stop dabbing. Stop it. No. Okay. Here's what I'm saying. Sarah, I know we weren't going to necessarily use all the manga knowledge here, and we were going to just try and keep it to what the majority of people might have known about, right? In like the anime, just for the sake of having a baseline, right? Like I could mention a bunch of other ancillary material about Char from the Gundam manga, but we'll be here all night and I'll bore you both to death, apparently. So what I would say is Neferpitou is a killer. She makes a huge impact. She is like a dreaded villain to Gon. But Tomura's villainy threatens, and this is maybe where we break open the idea of scale. Tomura's villainy, I think, threatens, in actuality, more people. Neferpitou is the defender of the bigger villain that actually is a larger game threat. Whereas Tomura, even though he's an early ranked person, he talked about backstory. I've read the manga, and Tomura definitely gets a really cool elucidation of who they are. And so I'll sacrifice the cat first. And yes, she is cool and does sound cool, and I hope that this gives you both a reason to start watching some Hunter x Hunter at some point in your lives. But
I tried.
I'm just going to say
I haven't tried.
I'll volunteer Neferpitou because I have grander designs later on.
Okay. But just
so
really
here's
sorry, tiny comment.
You first, and then I'll say a thing.
You brought up scale. You brought up scale of who was affected by the villains. Kyubey. Universe. Proceed.
Now
I gotta say 2 things. Number 1, I still stand by. If someone says, "Hey, Kyubey, we have a awesome solar panel. Do you want that instead?" Kyubey says yes. Kyubey's evil plan is trash in the trash. I stand by this. The second thing is an idea that I have for future, because man, oh man, we're halfway through the show and we're only on E tier, and I know people want to see if Rock Lee's going to make it through. People have told me, they've whispered in my ears at night that if Rock Lee doesn't make it to the top, they'll kill me. So my recommendation is, in further tiers, we volunteer our tributes to who should be on this tier. We make our statement, we make a vote, and then what's said and done, we can go to war on E and S tier, but we have several other tiers to go. That's my pitch. That's my stance as an idea.
Fair enough. We will do Neferpitou at the bottom. So who goes number 5?
Number 5. Does someone else want to open? Because I realized I opened last time.
Yeah.
Or honestly, if you guys, or if, I know this is out of order and illogical, but if you guys both really feel strongly about Tomura, I would be fine to lock him in at an A or B just to have one less moving piece.
I would lock him in at A tier, to be honest.
Where
I would put Tomura at A tier.
So you would put Tomura at A tier? Who among, or in the top 3, who among your picks, Reed, is above? Who, if you had to pick between your two, who goes higher? Maybe that's a way.
But wait, in my two, who goes higher between Naraku and Kibutsuji?
Yeah.
Great question. Checking my personal list, Kibutsuji does go above Naraku at the end of the day. But yes, and I'm also, the chat is, Jordan is saying that yes, Tomura deserves A tier, and apparently Pavel, who's with Jordan, agrees. Tomura deserves A tier. Kibutsuji, I believe, is in the upper ranks. He is in, I'm sorry, oh my god, I have to go. I forgot the name of the actual ranking in Demon Slayer.
Oh, we're not.
He's of the upper, he's part of the upper 12 Kizuki.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, and just like Naruto, they have to have, like, what, 12 different things wrong with their eyes to denote that? Or Okay, so it seems like this is fleshing out a little bit. So I think Char's also in the triad shuffle up top. And I have some maybe arguments to make there. Which
put him up there.
That's what I think, but this is not super definitive yet. But that's how I think that the top maybe goes. So then, if with that being said, in terms of our hearts, we have Naraku and Kyuubi. Are they looking at ranks 4 and 5, or?
They're looking at ranks D and C. D and C. We have to decide between the two. And here's my pitch. Let me look at my personal tier list, because I mean, you've heard my pitch between these two. I've said my pitch about QB. I stand by that. If we came with a better source of energy, he would no longer be evil.
But there isn't one. That's the whole thing.
I'm just saying, if we had one, if we come to Naraku, to Naraku.
No, we don't.
But we don't.
Yeah, and if Naruto had super Advil, he wouldn't have to become a fucking spider yokai.
I think QB goes above Naraku.
I would like to give my pitch about Naraku. I gave a comical pitch at the beginning. I'd like to give a pitch now of why I think he does go a little higher, because he's someone who cannot be sated in the grand scheme of power, and he wants to be at the top. That never exists. He wants to obtain a woman, and you cannot obtain a person, especially not Kikyo and all the grand stories she has gone through. That's impossible. She is the one unobtainable thing. And in the show, it is proven. She has gone up to him and says, "You can't own me. You can't do shit to me," and leaves. And that drives him fucking crazy.
Sure.
He is willing to do so many things, and he will never stop. Until he is dead and buried in the ground, he will never stop. He takes a sick pleasure from fucking around people's lives, taking away little brothers and making them go insane and trying to kill their own sisters, spurring demons on to slaughter families, convincing two lovers that they actually hate each other, and then ruining that relationship forever. So there's Kikyo and Inuyasha, done forever. There's no coming back from that true love. Done. Why? Because he was an asshole and he wanted to obtain a woman. Still isn't gonna get her. He will keep forever.
Sarah, make your argument for QB.
Again, it's just that we are on two sides of the same fence, which is that Reed argues that Kyubei's like cold removal and logic is what makes them an inferior villain, and I argue that that's what makes him the superior villain, which is that because like again, like you know, with Naraka, like there's all these like things to be exploited. There's all these like weaknesses, like his feelings, like because he's so full of this rage and this misguided, you know, what he thinks is love, but we all recognize as this, you know, toxic, controlling obsession.
Yeah.
Like that leads to weaknesses where like he can be, you know, like manipulated and stuff, you know, like the whole like, and he like tries and fails. Like he tries to kind of like get alliances with like Shishomaru, and then like that doesn't really work. And like
Yeah.
so like to me it's like, oh, like that's weak. Like that's I'm like less afraid of that. Versus again, like Kyubey is just completely emotionally detached, looking at the fate of the universe and saying, like, sorry, this planet of everything that you know and love, Earth, expendable, but you know, kind of for the greater good. So it all has to go. Sorry, teenage girls who are, you know, the responsibility of this is on your shoulders.
Right.
And we specifically picked you because your emotions are the strongest of any humans on Earth.
Yeah.
And like, you are like
Can I-
literally vulnerable and we are exploiting you. Please.
I have one more thing, and I would hate myself if I didn't say it. Utilitarian ethics means that anything that you do, whether it has a good outcome for the rest of the majority of the populace, it is defined as a good action. I just wanted to put that out there. I'd be mad if
So
I
do you want to
didn't.
bump Kyubey to supporting characters? if you're
I
suddenly
would
real,
accept this.
if you're certainly fucking pro Kyubey over there.
What a twist! What a twist! Yeah.
But it-
Kyubey did nothing wrong.
QB did nothing wrong. Yeah. It's funny.
I'll put the.
It's funny
Go ahead.
because we definitely have two characters. Like Char was right is a meme in the Gundam community because of
Oh.
all of the insane actions that he does. And then it's like, yeah, but Char was right. It's like, no, Char's a big manipulator. We'll get into that in a second. I think I'm kind of the tiebreaker
You
vote,
are the
right?
I
deciding
think
vote.
so, and I will
However-
yield it to you. I will
I will.
accept your decision.
Okay, I do think that you made a lot of good points, and in terms of like affecting me growing up and like high school stuff, you know, Naraku. I mean, he's the reason for the season. You know, that why all this bad stuff is happening in Inuyasha,
Yeah.
and I just think. I don't want to use the bias of I don't think I watched enough because neither of you have watched Gundam, and I'm going to try and bring my heat in there. So I'm going to establish my sense of honor among these things and just really look at what has been said here today as much as possible and where I think
Fair
the
enough.
passion is coming from. But what I did watch of Madoka Magica utterly broke my freaking heart. That show has so much wrong with it, and the reveal of QB's involvement as being instrumental to the suffering of these young women is so infuriating to me. And also, if we're just talking about design,
Yeah.
Naraku is hot and has like the big hair and the traditional look. But those dead,
We only have 20
soulless,
minutes, Sam.
those
We
dead,
only got 20
soulless
minutes.
eyes. We're gonna get through this. I think it's got to be.
Yeah.
I think QB goes above Naraku. So
I saw it coming a mile away, and that's why I was like, Sam, I need you to pull the trigger. I just need you to do it.
Let me
Like,
set me free.
just come on. I'm looking at the rabbits. Let's do this.
all right. Well, I mean, in the oh my god, in the top three. Now we have so in other words, guys, we have Neferpitou, Naraku, and QB, and now we begin the great debate because I think all three of us want these villains to be A tier.
I think it's kind of interesting that I feel like I will throw to either of you. I am less familiar with Demon Slayer and Gundam. Do either of you feel strong that either of these should be S tier? Is Summer about to get promoted by default?
I will be honest, in my personal, because I came in here thinking we had separate tier lists, so I made my own personal tier list.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Are you going to reveal that? Is that a reveal or what?
Then what else am I gonna do this? To me, and I'll explain. Kibutsuji was A. Kibutsuji was S. Tomura was A. And then I won't say who third place was because that doesn't matter anymore. So Char would be in third place. These are my thoughts. I knew less about Char, knowing more about him now and kind of the individualistic of it. You know, I'm allowing to switch it up. I'm allowing to do this for the sake of time because we don't have forever. And my installation being, I'm willing to drop Kibutsuji. I'm willing to do it. And if anyone comes and burns my house down, I accept this. But I think Kibutsuji can be C. Char can be. I mean, Kibutsuji can be third, which is AKA in the I'm just
You're doing it. You're
Tomura is
doing
at
it.
S, Char is at A, Kibutsuji is at B. I said it. That's my pitch. I'll back it up if you need me to. If you don't, I yield my time.
I could get into that. Sam, what do you think?
So we're saying at the top three, it would go Tomura, Char, Kibutsuji.
Yes.
Correct.
You wanted.
Here's
it
my
in the
reason
top
why I
three?
think Kibutsuji can go down to B. Sing my seatbelt.
Okay.
Do we need to do a hyper crush timer for you?
No, Hyper Crush timer is not needed. And yeah, I know we need to
Okay.
get going on to our next category. And you know what? You guys are right. I think you've given me a lot of rope on Char, and I know neither of you have seen it. I've tried to like present the best case for it. But I do think out of the three of us, we are the most familiar out of the trio of My Hero. And as much as I said I didn't want the things that happen later in the manga to influence my choices, I will say that Tomura, the things that they do later is, and the things that even that like they did weird shit stuff to Overhaul, I think, right? Like they like destroyed them somehow, right? Like
that was technically All for One. But...
Okay, well that's the thing. It's that Tomura is. Here's my argument. My last thing. I know we got to go, but look,
we got to move on.
But no, we can't. We have to stay here all night. Guys, I'll de-host us from the pack. We're going overtime on our channel. But anyway, we might as well. But I just think that with Char, there's nobody above him. Like Char doesn't answer to anybody. Tomura answers to
All for One.
All for One.
Okay.
I could see Reed being like, how am I going to take this guy down?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to, because here's the thing.
I think they're both good villains. Like
they're both good villains, and I'm acknowledging my blind spots because I'll be honest, you come in with a lot of lore that I wasn't ready for. You came in with a lot of facts and a lot of storylines and a lot of character names that I do not know. That's already coloring my perception and minimalizing.
Permission to issue a cheap shot.
Yeah.
At Char.
Go for it.
In the historical tradition of the show, I was looking at fan wikis of all these characters for the ones I wasn't familiar with. And Char is listed as a protagonist in one shoot-off series.
Okay, well that's in Zeta.
To me, I'm just like, does that mean there's redeeming qualities about him? Does that mean because there is no world where Tomura is the protagonist in a fun little side story?
Actually, I think I have to side with Sarah on this one. That's a fair thing to pull out of the
They used the lore against me, guys. I was hoping I could pull one over. Yes, you're correct. Char is actually on the side of the Angels in Zeta Gundam. He plays a tweener.
Sam, you sneaky man.
I still think when you look at Char's counterattack and when you look at overall what Char has done in the show, his villainy outweighs any of his heroism because his heroism is completely selfishly minded. That's what I'll say. But I will also say that Tomura gets the number one spot, followed by Char Aznable, Kibutsuji, Kyubi, and Naraku, and then bringing up the back, the killer cat in FRP2. Congratulations. All right.
We have 15 minutes.
We do. Here's the thing. I'm going to say it. I'm going to come out the gate saying it right now. I'm going to come out the gate saying the spicy take as we're setting up the supporting cast. Firstly, I'll list down who.
Yeah, just list who you have, and then I'm going to put them on the graphics.
Yeah, I'll explain my choices. People have seen, people have commented. You've heard the name. You love his face. I have chosen Rock Lee from Naruto, and I haven't seen all of Naruto. I'll be frank, but from what I've seen, big pluses. If people know more about Rock Lee, feel free to comment, and I'll take them. I'll run with them. I'll be your champion. And Inosuke, again, from Demon Slayer.
I'll be your champion.
I didn't realize that I was choosing black-haired, handsome men for all of my choices. It's awkward when you look at my boyfriend, who is also black hair, handsome, and tall. But moving on. I said it. I'll out myself. Rock Lee, who is indeed a ninja worth his salt. He's from the Hidden Leaf Village. Here is the fun fact about him, and I'm gonna slaughter the terms. So my roommate's gonna get ready my roommate and Dom are gonna find me. But here we go. Every ninja has a special sort of like thing with chakra. They have special powers in that sort of way. He does not have this. Essentially, all he has is martial arts. That's all he can do. That's all he lives and breathes. And he shows determination, power. The one thing I find important in a supporting character is, do they help the main character learn something and grow? He does every time. Anytime Naruto is trying to find and overcome something, anytime Naruto, as we all know, is obnoxious as hell, Rock Lee is the one who stops him and says, hey, you need to calm down. You need to focus. And that's what helps make our main character grow to be the amazing ninja that he is later. Rock Lee was essential. My other choice is Inosuke. He is indeed a demon slayer from the Demon Slayer Corps. No shirt, wears a boar head. He's not the smartest kid on the block, but man, oh man, does he got the spirit. Man, oh man, does he got the fight. He's here for two things, and that's fighting demons and chewing gum, and he's perpetually out of gum. He's not the brightest bulb in the box, but dang, he's willing to kind of run with whatever Tanjiro is kind of going with. Also, Tanjiro's helping him learn. He's helping Tanjiro learn. It's a really cute friendship because he's never really had friends before, and he's kind of learning how to do it. And Tanjiro is just really great. I'm showing my hand a little bit here, but those are my two. Sarah, who are your two?
My two picks. So I brought Ritsu from K-On! She is the president of the Light Music Club. She is the drummer. She is this like very sweet and funny goofball. She's the club president, but like spends most of their time in rehearsal like just like goofing around or like eating snacks and like little tea cakes. But when push comes to shove, when the fate of the club is in trouble, which it often is, she's always brainstorming, trying to figure out how to keep the club together at any means necessary. Always ready with a good scheme. Super cute. And then there is Kamina from Gurren Lagann, who is the older brother figure to our protagonist. He's the secondary protagonist. He dreams of reaching the surface. He's this like fiery, hot-headed, like very macho guy who really inspires our character, the main character Simon. Even after, spoiler alert, he super dies.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about this because I did my research, but whoa!
All right, and then Sam, who are you bringing to the table?
Mako Makanshoku from Kill la Kill. Mako is like the most adorable, like amazing best friend. She also gets a like kind of a standalone episode in the series, which like supporting characters, especially in like a 26 episode anime, don't get. She's like the supporter of our lead in Kill la Kill, who's trying to like find out like who's responsible for the death of my father. And Mako is so like zany and Bugs Bunny. Like all of her asides are really, really funny and well written. And she's almost like Plastic Man. Like she can squish, she can stretch, she can kind of be anything. And she's honestly like such a super ray of sunshine that even the head of the student council develops this like crush on her just because she's such a light in this world. Even though he is kind of like a gruff, tough dude, it's like the cute, tiny, bubbly Mako just brings everybody's Kerrigan heart out. And I love her for that. And then everybody loves the frog girl, right? So honestly, Froppy or Suyu, or I know that I think she has like opinions about how she wants to be addressed. Oh my gosh, why aren't my?
She likes being called Sue.
Sue, yes,
Froppy is her hero name.
That's right. And I need to put her image up there. But yeah, Froppy. I don't know. Like, what more can we really say that you don't see, like, just from the image of her, which is coming up very quickly? She is adorable frog girl from My Hero Academia. And, like, she's a perfect supporting character in that she also gets a standalone episode. She's always kind of featured in these big group situations. And she kind of forms, like, the triad of, like, our lead, Deku, and then Uraraka, and then Froppy, who kind of provides, she's like way more practical than you think for a character that has such a funny, goofy look. So I don't know. I think she has a lot of qualities that make her great.
This is true. I have to throw in some sense on Froppy, actually, that I got excited about. She is another hero, or hero in the sense of My Hero Academia, but she is someone who points out, again, the practicality and is a bit more kind of down to earth, where people, sometimes she helps the protagonist question, what does it mean to be a hero? You can't just go and do what you think is right, because if you're breaking rules because of what you think is right, that doesn't make you a hero. You're acting like a villain.
Right.
Which, to me, gives her big points in my book on where I think she belongs in the tier list.
Speaking of tier list, I want to clarify something that we just said we are ranking best supporting characters. Now, do we mean just like kind of like side characters as a whole who are like interesting and cool? Or are we talking about like literally characters who support the main character, almost like a best friend?
I was going in supporting the main character like a best friend.
That's what I was thinking too. And now I'm like listening out loud and I'm like, supporting character means also something else.
It does.
That's how I came to this too, which is like who is somebody that supports the main character. But also we might just be talking about like who is an incredible side character.
Yeah, like so that was honestly where I was coming from, is like it's like if this is the case, then beloved Rock Lee from Reed might not feature too highly by that logic, because like what does Rock Lee do to directly support Naruto? You know, like Kamina directly supports people, and like I'm not trying to knock down Rock Lee. I'm just making an argument. Like
you weren't listening to what I was saying. Is what hurts me.
What?
I had literally talked about how he had supported Naruto at the very beginning of his ninja journey.
Well, yeah. I know I did hear this, and I listen with an open heart and open soul. I think if we want to go up based on like support to main character, as in literally like hashtag support character, then yeah, we have to then measure their contributions to their success. So,
I feel like this might be something we have to let the chat kind of get a voice in on what they believe is a supporting character. Yeah, and what they want to see that tally being on, as supporting characters literally of support, or supporting character focusing on the character.
Yeah. How do we define support in 7 minutes?
How are you supported?
We don't actually have to end it. I mean, I will end our hosting on Pack Theater. You know, I hope that people still definitely Venmo Pack-Theater if you're enjoying this discussion. That's our home base. That's our lovely home crowd. And they're also still offering classes, I believe. I think they'll have some new classes coming up, so check that out. But okay, so let's lead off. How are we going to decide? I will say that this is actually harder than the villains. I'm not going to lie.
I think it's interesting if we do this kind of in a sense of like best like supports to the main character, because we've done, haven't we? Am I bananas? Have we done best sidekicks?
I feel like we have. It feels like something we've done.
Whatever.
But also, like, there's so many examples. Like this is the definitive yet not definitive list.
It's so fun. I would argue that I think it's interesting to do it of like who, we don't even have to say supports. We could just say who influences the main character of their story.
Okay.
I like this.
All right.
Like that might be, because then that gives us a little more wiggle room for some of these. Although if that's the lens we're going for, it's so hard to say this. I love Sue. I love Froppy. I think she is one of the most standout characters in an ensemble show, which is hard to do. I think her characterization is so cute. I love her personality. I love that she just says what she's thinking. I love the dynamics of her movement, that she hops around like a little frog.
Let's just say it. Reed, do you agree with this?
No, you were not listening to the words coming out of my mouth. I'm sorry, Sam. I know she's your lady, but I'm gonna say my two things. I'm gonna hype you up, and I'm gonna let you take the stage. In the second season of this show called My Hero Academia, we have Deku, who wants to go save his friend Bakugo. They want to fucking leave the hospital, forget what the government says. They want to do a Tony Stark Marvel Adventures, go do what they want to do. And Sue has to remind them, we're here to help the government. We're here to help the people. You guys just breaking the rules, I'm not going to stop you, but that makes you act like villains. And that was an important and key moment to Deku realizing, I got to follow the rules. I can't just do what I think is right. That's so selfish of me.
Yeah.
I've gassed it. Sam, take it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Fair. Fair.
Yeah, I would. My heart would break if I thought that Froppy's at the bottom, because Froppy definitely comes in clutch and teaches lessons to everybody, including Deku. It is, you know, I think, okay, I guess I want to build people up rather than break them down, just like Reed just did. Yeah. I think there's a stronger argument to be made, even in my selections, for like Mako or Kamina or like Rock Lee. If I want to just put the top three together and figure it out.
Okay.
I will, Sarah. I'm sorry. I'm way too jazzed. Sarah, go.
It's so funny that you say that because I would put Mako higher than at least Ritsu from K-On! And I know that you guys aren't super familiar with K-On! And part of this truly is also like a genre thing. Like K-On! Is just like this sweet little slice of life. The stakes are a lot less high. Like, we're talking about how Tsuyu is like teaching like Deku, like what does it mean to be moral and like put the good of society above your own vendetta. And it's like Ritsu plays the fucking drums in like middle school. So like she can be at the bottom of this list and I think that's fine. Because the traits that I love in Ritsu are actually really present in Mako too. What I love about Ritsu and her friendship with Yui, the main character of the show, is they are the examples of like two best friends who share one brain cell. Like they're really goofy, they're really silly, like they mostly care about just like having fun and being young girls, but you know, when the going gets tough, they step up when they need to. But literally, I think it's just a genre thing. The stakes are so much less high. I cannot convince any of you that, like, again, like Ritsu inspiring her friend to join a light music club at high school.
I think I have some words to say, if I may. I believe you're putting your girl down way too much. You've inspired me. I don't think she belongs in E tier. As a matter of fact, I gave you the E tier all along. You just never saw the fruits in front of you.
You put Kamina in E tier?
No.
Okay.
Thinking about what is the support, it's helping the hero on their journey. And I'll be honest, Inosuke acts, as I'm folding these papers very methodically, acts like a protagonist in an anime. He does not support Tanjiro as much as I would like him to be. Do I love him because he's ripped and he's stupid and he's precious?
Okay.
Yeah.
But
that's sorry. I just want to throw in because we do. I will say this: we will probably end our hosting on the Pack channel. So I'm just going to say that right now. We're going into overtime.
We won't go too much overtime, but we are going into.
We are going to go overtime, but not too much overtime. So I'm actually going to do that right now, just so we have a clean break. I want to say thanks again to the Pack Theater for hosting us. Please Venmo Pack-Theater. Go check them out. I think the rest of the night, and we're not going to go over by too much. I think You'd Be Into It is coming up next, and they have an awesome interview with one of our newest shows that's happening at the Pack Theater, which is Dungeons and Dragons based, which like I'm trying to get on as well. So I want to make sure that they have full and clear right now to take over the stream. So go take it over. You stay with us for just a little bit longer, but then don't come right back to the Pack Theater channel, or leave this alone and just throw up your hands and go, I don't care what this list is. Whatever you want to do. But we're going to unhost right now. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to continue over on the Super Dating Simulator channel. Okay, hopefully.
We're gonna wait a little bit for people who were over on the Pack, but this has been a heated time. I'm already seeing some movement on the screen that I'm disagreeing with.
The movement on the screen is only like I'm putting things around places. I'm not. This is not. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just
a lighthearted anecdote in the meantime. This is very timely. Is that this last weekend I was in Little Tokyo with friends, and I thought that I thought he just was part boar. I didn't realize there was a whole dude under there.
There's a whole dude.
And when I saw what he looks like without that boar head on, I was like, hello? You guys have been hiding this person from me? This beautiful person from me this whole time?
Yeah.
The reaction to him in the anime is hilarious because they're like, why is he so pretty? He's beautiful. But his personality is the exact same of he shows up to a house because they're like, okay, we're at this house. We're going to eat some food and respect. He goes, who are these people? Are they going to fight us? They're like, no, they're here to feed us. And he goes, I'm going to fight them. And they're like, no, lay down, go to sleep. You just had your ribs broken. And he goes, it's time to fight. That's
Inosuke has some of my favorite like dialogue. Like I don't love a lot of like anime where they just scream. And Dragon Ball Z is different. They are screaming, but it's different. This is just like random, like ha, what, and like what's his face? The electric kid.
Zenitsu.
And yeah, so they they are so obnoxious. But when Inosuke does it, it's charming and adorable. And
He literally has
I like
he
his
just
feral himbo energy.
feral
that is
himbo.
100% him. He literally starts because he's gonna fight somebody. And you're like, "Can you calm down? It's just a woman." He goes, "I'll fight a woman. I don't care. I don't know how to read or write." And they're like, "We didn't ask that, but okay."
Okay, first of all,
Yeah.
feminist king.
He very much talks about how he'll fight anybody. He
I
doesn't
love
care.
that.
I was gonna make an argument that like because Inosuke is like sort of a chaotic boar agent, that their support of the main character might dangerously put them below the list, whereas like Ritsu directly contributes. I think
He's E tier, guys. He's
All right,
great,
he's
and I
E-tier.
love him, but he
All right.
doesn't.
There he
If we're
goes.
I
talking about
agree.
support in the mechanical, technical,
technical.
theological,
We're getting
sense,
technical.
And some of
he's
this
not.
is-
I love him. I'm gonna hyper crush him one day. I will go into the gauntlet for this man.
I think you could crush on them for sure.
Oh yeah, someday
that
we have,
face.
we have to do producers only hyper crush someday. Anyways,
Yeah.
I know I have a big, beautiful brain. Part of this, again, just like pour one out for Inosuke, is that we should have, as producers, decided how we were defining supporting characters.
we
But I
thought we
think,
knew.
yeah, we.
I literally was just like, it's just characters. Like, who's the best character? But then you're right. I think it's similar to like the first in the villain argument, where like we just, because we have to have some meter to judge this on, we started looking at scope, scale, impact. We started defining it as we went, and I was fine with those rule changes. I see this similarly. Like they are all awesome characters. It would be hard to try and rank one above the other if we didn't have a metric.
Yeah.
That's fair. Now that being said, and I'm gonna have to say it, I have to say it for my fans. Rock Lee deserves to be up there because he supports Naruto almost every goddamn day of Naruto's life.
Okay.
I said it. I put it out there. I'll die on that hill.
Speaking of
You
dying,
died for Char. I'll die for Rock Lee.
wow. Well, I died for Char and it wasn't enough, but Kamina died for. I mean, honestly, if we're okay, coming up after Ritsu, I'll volunteer Froppy.
Okay, so we're gonna do Ritsu D, Froppy C.
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable.
Okay, I've been outvoted. I think Mako deserves that spot, but I've been outvoted. I'll allow it.
I think when we're talking about I hear the overall arc of Sue for Deku,
Mhm.
but if we were talking supportive, Mako is on Ryuko like glue.
All the time.
She is her day one ride or die. She's like, hey, move into my house with my family.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
She is her biggest stan. She is truly a ride or die. So I think that we got to give
And
Mako a-
constantly throughout the
Okay.
series, Mako's friendship with Ryoko, yeah.
It's a long time Zocha too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little fuzzy, and I'm even wearing the shirt. But I think she needs to be top 3 for me.
Ring the bell. I was just taken to school. Because listen, I'll be honest. I saw Kill la Kill. I couldn't finish it. I couldn't do it. I started it, couldn't finish it. So I didn't get to see everything.
Just
We'll get into
too much awesome, huh?
It was too much satire.
Fair. I get why.
We can get more into other personal tumultuous things that are happening in my life on top of the satire. We'll get in that into the after hours.
You were also trying to avenge your father's death by challenging
It was
the
too-
head of student
it was too
body to
real.
a fight. I get it.
Yeah, you were also
I-
being enslaved by the alien fibers of your clothes. I get it.
Yeah, we get that. We get that.
This
We've all
shirt,
been there, girl.
I've never taken off this shirt. It just changes color.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so now we very tidily have sorted out our bottom 3.
We have.
Now we're left with the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to speak a little bit more on Kamina, if I may have the floor.
Please.
You may.
And this is why I believe in Kamina so strongly. I did not like Gurren Lagann. I watched a lot of the series and perhaps a movie and really did not feel connected to it. I did not feel compelled by the story. Kamina as a character has stayed with me ever since. His the way that he supports Simon and like is like a guiding figure to him, and the way that he encourages him to believe in himself. Literally the phrase, "Don't believe in you, believe in the me that believes in you," has changed the way I view friendships. I have said that to people unironically in times of their need. And I think just like, and he's not even necessarily like, there's things about his character that like I don't love. Like he's got, I'll say it, little toxic masculinity moments going on. Like he's a little problematic. I don't love how he treats women. Like I don't love a lot of that. But when it comes to like being a definitive influence and being supportive and like changing someone's life and leaving a legacy, I think Kamina is an incredible supporting character. I'm not saying S tier. I could be argued out of S tier, but I don't want to see him as B.
I think it is time for me to take the pot shot, if I may.
Let her rip.
Doing my deep lore dive, because Kamina was someone who had seen pictures of in memes, but I never actually knew Gurren Lagann. I didn't know his thing. But in my wiki dive, as one does, he was listed as a protagonist, kind of pulling him out of the supporting character sort of category.
I would say he's a deuter antagonist because like, and it's the show trying to kind of pull the rug out from under you.
Yeah.
For the first early episodes, you do think he's the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is when he dies and then Simon has to step up and take his place that we realize that Simon is the protagonist of the story. So like, that's a reasonable claim to make. Like, I got you.
So for that, I can't in good conscience put him in S tier. I can't. And I can't exactly put him above Rock Lee. I have a bias. But I do think spiritually, if I could take a bazooka and kill the B tier and just that's a gaping hole and someone has to share that A tier spot, I'm electing for that. I'm willing to bazooka the B tier and say it doesn't exist.
Unfortunately, we don't have that choice. And
you gotta ruin my dreams.
I like how I reacted to your completely ineffectual.
my
What did you throw? A tissue? What was that?
I know. I just have a bunch of pieces of paper next to me
for this exact scenario.
Sure.
I want to talk about Mako really quick because I know that, yes, like Kill la Kill definitely, Sarah couldn't make her way through it. Too awesome. I get it. Or Reed couldn't get through it.
I liked Kill la Kill. I loved it.
I loved it too. But I think the thing that I'll make the argument for Mako is that she is throughout the entire run of the story of Kill la Kill at Ryoko's side and is like a critical part of Ryoko's character development, and even as a supporting character rejects, like at a certain point in the series she gets her own armor, her own like awesome clothing where she like just looks like a belligerent school tough. Yeah,
her fight club with the little with the leaf in her mouth and the jacket.
The leaf in her mouth, the jacket. Exactly. She looks like a JoJo character. She's like this stereotype of like a belligerent like street tough, and then she like takes it to Ryoko. Like they fight. Like the good thing about their friendship is that they're not afraid to fight each other. They weren't afraid to go to those lengths. But at its core, Mako couldn't deny the fact that like I need to support my friend. This is not right, and she gives up their power in order to like better support Ryoko, and like even like learning their own inner strength, realizing like I want to use that strength to support Ryoko. So I think there's something there with like she's not just comic relief, she's not just, and she has kind of her own mini arc as well, in terms of like she wants to take care of her family. She starts to kind of develop this like budding, it's not really a relationship, but like there's like a mutual crush happening between her and Goro, and like there's a lot of other elements to her, but she never leaves the side of her best friend. She's stalwart, and what more could you ask for in a supporting character?
This is going to be so hard.
This is going to be tough. I want to first acknowledge the chat of Dawn Party. I would 1,000% agree. Rock Lee dropping his weights was one of the greatest moments of all time in anime. 100% agree. I have to acknowledge that we've changed, the rules have changed in this year of 2021. We're going for characters who do support the main character, and it's that moment, as much as I could argue, that inspired Naruto to, I think, ascend new heights and to kind of overcome his own personal biases and hurdles. And if I want to say, kind of led to him releasing the Nine-Tailed Fox chakra, and kind of leading him to become, I'm not gonna spoil it for those who haven't seen Naruto, but he gets pretty good at the end in his adult life.
Gets pretty good.
Gets pretty good. I'm not gonna say what happens to him, because in case people haven't seen it, it's been spoiled for me. I'm happy to know, but I know people aren't so happy to know.
You've had time to start Naruto. The hypothetical viewer angry about
hypothetical
to start.
That's fair. And hey, I mean,
this whole show.
I'm just defending you hypothetically.
This whole show is built on hypothetical anger, so
it is. Yeah. And the inspiration that I think that Rock Lee is to Naruto's life, because Naruto is the main character of Naruto. We can't argue.
Yes.
I just in case anyone wanted to come at me and say, but Sasuke, I'm like, it's his fucking name. Anytime Naruto is in need, Rock Lee has come to his side.
Right.
I will admit a hole in my own personal argument. How dare you, Jordan? Get out of here. Get out of this chat. I'm kidding. Stay. We love you. He spoiled that Naruto makes Boruto, which is I'm only in the Chunin exam arc. This puts holes in my argument, but I would say so far as watching everything from introduction of Rock Lee to onward, it has been inspiration to majority of this cast.
Yes, majority of our viewers. However, in terms of our metrics,
I meant Naruto. I meant the cast of Naruto, including Naruto himself.
Are we all not in Naruto right now? Are we not?
Sam, I've been meaning to tell you, this is an intervention. You gotta stop Naruto running everywhere you go. It doesn't make you faster.
Where am I?
I'm not Hokage.
No.
Okay, I think Rock Lee is number 3.
I think so too.
I need to go.
I'm sorry, but like these two, I mean, also we're talking about like, and again, like,
listen, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I'll stop you right there as opposed to the meme-ness. I see what you mean. I had to recognize, but I had to get my final licks in for Rock Lee.
Of course.
He's coming back. I'm bringing him back to another tier show because he deserves S tier in many different ways.
I'm glad he's in the upper tier. He belongs in the upper tier.
Yes.
I'm glad we didn't see him in the bottom tier, but like we are talking about two characters who are truly stuck on their main characters like glue, that are like truly just like interwoven. And that one way I wonder if what's hurting Rock Lee is not that he has to like seemingly, I'm not a big Naruto fan, like his own stuff going on. Like he kind of has his own like goals and arc and ambitions. Where like, of course, Mako and Kamino have their own stuff going on. You know, both have kind of family-centric backstories. You know, Kamina's dad broke through the surface and Mako's family is in like poverty. But like, really what we see of them in the story is like, they are there to go to bat for our main character. So I think that in a way, Rock Lee not being just like Naruto's like number one hype man as a full-time job might be what bumped him to C today.
I would have to agree. And this is what I promise our viewers out there who I know are Rock Lee stans. Rock Lee is coming back. I'm volunteering the idea of a tier list of underdogs because that Rock Lee is up in that chat.
I look forward to that future tier listing episode.
It's gonna be
I'm also gonna say that for me, so now we're transitioning to Kamina versus Mako, which is kind of incredible that two characters from the same studio are going up against each other. It's tough because I see both things, but I am going to actually throw in with Sarah's choice because I think that Kamina is better than Mako as a supporting character because literally from beyond the grave, they have more influence than they ever were alive. I mean, they were also influential when they were alive, but a supporting character that literally like creates like a life philosophy that resonates not only with the characters in your show, but the people watching the show is sort of like a transcendent ability in which Kamina is sort of all of our supporting character.
Makes
I'll
you think,
allow
huh?
I'll allow it because, to be honest, between the two, the idea of someone dying for you, is that not the most support one can give?
Hey guys,
It-
we're here
it
talking
does-
about Jesus Christ.
Hey, I thought it was just gonna be a subtle joke, but here we are.
I'm so
Um,
sorry. Oh, I stepped on your punchline.
Oh no, actually, it was too subtle. I was worried it might be too subtle, which I'm actually glad you took it. I didn't because I was a coward.
Okay.
Not lying to you. I was like, you could make a Jesus joke, and I'm like, don't do it. And then Sarah
And I was
the
like,
true
ooh,
hero.
low hanging fruit.
Hey, my one thing that I'm okay with it, but my one thing that does leave my heart a little blackened at the end of the day is he is a deuteragonist. He started as a protagonist and then he died, but then I guess his ghost is the supporting character. If you can make that transparent, I'll accept it. If you can make that picture a little semi-transparent because he's a ghost.
Okay, I can
Yeah.
try. I don't know if I have that ability.
No, you don't actually have to do that. That's just really rude. I'm just saying in our hearts, pretend that he's a ghost. Put a little ghost headband on him.
Okay.
But yeah, we can make him S tier. I'll be cool with that.
I see what you're saying on the technical level, Reed, and like,
Yeah.
but it's also
That's
like, to me, it's oh boy, yeah, it's tough. This life is tough, and
That's what's up.
and you know, the funny thing is, I'm looking at this list, and I'm seeing the Rock Lee passion, and I'm wondering if we want to make one last little switch. If we want to
Really?
put, I don't know. I think Mako's way more integral than Rock. It's just, I think we have scienced this correctly.
I think I agree, but I think we should. I'm gonna
Ritsu,
separate category.
I would even say Ritsu could go up above Froppy, but probably not. We love Froppy too much in this chat.
We do. We are big Froppy stands as us. Honestly, in the chat, Kevin Wrestling says, I respect this list. And to me, like, that's all we can ask for is that, like,
Respect at this
honestly,
time.
because it's like all of us would have probably switched things around. We all view things differently. Our chat, I know, has strong opinions. But if we can all just look at this list and respect it as a concept, even though we personally might shift things around, I think we can consider this a job well done.
All right, I'm willing to do
Rock
it.
Lee wins like audience fave. I think we can.
Oh yeah. Oh,
definitely
if we had a fan fave category, by a landslide, the Rock Lee stands were in the house tonight in a way that I was not expecting.
Listen, you need to watch. Sarah, you and I, when we're allowed to be in the same room together, I would love to just curate a nice little selection of Naruto episodes that just show you Rock Lee and how he's a sweet boy. He's a sweet boy.
An endless list of hypothetical shows. We're also doing a Clockwork Orange style show where I am strapped to a chair and forced to watch all the anime that I've had a hard time enjoying. We will watch Naruto. We will try Hunter x Hunter again. I'll be honest, I'm having a hard time with Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
You are?
I understand this. This was a bomb to drop at the end of our overtime podcast.
I think you should try the original 2003 anime before you go into Brotherhood.
No.
Yes.
No, Brotherhood
is. We're
is
arguing for another time, Samuel, but we are way over time. We're gonna have to cut.
Oh,
this
now Reed calls for time. She taps out. She calls for mercy.
We had this show so beautifully wrapped up.
And
I just dropped a huge bomb.
We were talking.
I'm saying. I think this is where we have a cliffhanger. We have our discussions. We come back together and maybe we say, I think this is a great pickup for next time of getting to know Sam Reed and Sarah's relationships.
Can we all smile into the camera really quick in 3, 2, 1? I'm going to take a screenshot of all of our stuff. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hey, awesome. This is the list, y'all. We have and our villains at number 6, Neferpitou, the angry killer cat. Then we have Naraku, the 400 episode maniacal mastermind. I'm so sorry to keep picking up. No, Naraku's evil as hell.
He's the Bay of Inuyasha.
Is the evil Bay? Well, besides Sesshomaru, I guess Sesshomaru goes tweener.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about this later.
I got the hands. Did you guys see that? I got the. Okay.
We'll talk about this later.
QB up top, and then QB in the middle, and then Kibutsuji, and then wait a minute. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? There is like a weird. So the top 3 of both are like Reed Sam, how did Sarah,
She knows.
how did she play us like this, Reed?
I didn't think she played us. I think that she waited for you and me to eat each other.
To tear each other apart?
I am the Cubase of Super Dating Simulator.
No, you're not. You're the Naraku of Super Dating Simulator. Cubase. That's another fight. The fight of what anime. Anyway, thank you so much for coming tonight, guys. It was really awesome. Thank you for watching us fight and our relationship slowly deteriorate or grow stronger. We'll find out next week.
Yeah, but please come continue to watch us on our streams on Monday nights. We're streaming games. We're doing some things. And I think we're going to try and do a few more of these fun, podcast style shows while we go in between some of our beautiful longer form stuff. But thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you guys so much for coming. Have a great night.